This is a very honest review of the VinFast VF e34 after 6 months of ownership, and I put about 4,000 kilometers on this car. And today I'm going to talk to you about all the positive and negative experiences I've had with this vehicle. Let's get started.
Take effing action, put it together, and subscribe to Tom Penn's channel on YouTube now. Yeah, I like it. It's crazy.
So it's been 6 months since I purchased this car. I purchased this car in March of 2022. I was one of the first customer to receive this car back in March 2022, and I've enjoyed this car for the last 6 months, and I put about 4,000 kilometers on this car, and I have to say I love this car very much. This is not to say this is a biased review, because actually I'm going to share with you my honest opinion. I'm going to give you all the positive experience and all the negative experiences that I have with this car. And this is as honest as it gets, because nobody's paying me to do these things, right? I'm just going to share with you honestly. If I tell you something negative about this car, it's only because I want VinFast to improve, because I want VinFast to be the world-class first-tier car maker in the world. If my feedback can help a little bit push Vietnamese products in that direction, so be it. Then so be it. I want to make that happen. Today it's raining a little bit, so the wiper is going left and right. So there's going to be some raining background noise plus the wiper. I wanted to make this video. I don't want to wait, because eventually I am going to lose this car. I'm waiting for my VinFast VF 8 Plus. That is coming very soon. In fact, as of this video, VinFast already released the first 100 cars to customers as of yesterday, and today is September 11th. I was not in the first 100 group because I really want a white car. The first batch of cars don't have white, so I couldn't get one. But I'm willing to wait for the car that I want, which is a white car. I'm waiting for that. It's gonna be fairly soon, and I'm considering trading in this car for the VinFast VF 8, because I simply cannot use 2 electric cars, even though it'll be cool. I can charge one and drive the other one, but I really don't think I need that many cars. I have no place to park them. So I'm thinking about trading this one in for the VF 8. Let's get back to the review of this vehicle after 6 months of ownership and 4,000 kilometers. I'm going to tell you all the good experiences and the bad experiences. So first, let's start with the good experiences. I've made a lot of videos about this car. I've told you all the good things about this car. I'm not going to repeat them here again. You can check out all those videos that I've made in the past. The links are in the video description below. You can find them all. So I'm only gonna cover all the good things that I haven't covered yet. And let me tell you, one of the things I really like about VinFast VF e34 is that when I go park at VinCom or any of the Vingroup properties, I don't have to pay parking charges. I can just go to VinCom, park it, or go there and charge my car and come out. I don't have to go find money and pay the parking attendant. I just go out. I think that's awesome. So free parking at any Vingroup properties. I think that's a small benefit, but sometimes it's convenient when we go to VinCom, and I find myself going to VinCom properties a lot more now because of this benefit. The other positive thing I feel about owning this car in the last 6 months is that this car is very utilitarian, meaning that it's very useful. You can use it in any situation, meaning that I'm not afraid to take it into small roads, small alleys. I'm not afraid to drive this car up, on the curb. Sometimes you need to do that in Vietnam because it's really hard to find parking. So sometimes we have to drive the car up to the sidewalk and whatever. You have to go up the curb. And with this car, it's got enough clearance, road clearance, so that I can just go anywhere I want. And I don't feel worried about, taking the car into small alleyways, because the car is just big enough for Vietnamese roads. It's not too big, it's not unmanageable, it's easy to drive. I find that very utilitarian. It's got a nice sized trunk. It's got very roomy back seat. It's very useful. You can put a lot of people in it. You can put 5 reasonably sized adults in this car, no problem. So very useful, very utilitarian. Whereas I would not take the Bentley into small alleys or drive it up the curb because I'll probably end up like destroying the car because it's got very low clearance. So again, this is very useful. So the number 3 benefit of owning this car in the last 6 months is that this car is actually really good to drive. Amazingly so. I mean, for the car in this price range, I mean, you can get other petrol cars, but they are not as good to drive as this one. And I think the reason is because this car is a little bit heavy, and probably because of the battery. And the battery is probably beneath the floor right here. So it has a low center of gravity and it's heavy. So it feels like a very stable, sturdy car. I can take this car to its maximum top speed, which is 134 kilometers an hour after the software update. And I feel the car is very, very stable. It may not seem that way because it looks like a small car and the tires and the wheels are kind of small. You wouldn't believe this car is this stable, but it is. It's a very stable car and I can drive it with confidence. I cannot say the same about any other compact cars being sold in Vietnam. They just feel flimsy. When you go ride in one of the cars that you hail with Grab car, they don't feel very solid. They don't feel very reliable. Don't you feel that way? Me too. But this car feels very solid, very stable. I just feel safe in it. And it's actually really fun to drive because it's electric, so it does feel like it's going really fast. When you put the pedal down, it feels like it's going really fast, but it's not. It's actually not a fast car at all, but it feels fast. It's the way the power is delivered on the road. So that's why I'm really anticipating my VF8 Plus, because everybody says it's a really fast car. But on paper it's not, because I know it's 5.5 seconds from 0 to 100 kilometers an hour, and that is not a fast car by any means. But because it's electric and because the way electric cars deliver the power to the wheels, you know, because you get power anytime you want, I think that 5.5 seconds is gonna feel fast. Well, we'll have to wait and see. When I get the VF8, you can expect me to do a complete, full, detailed review of that car. All right, so those are the positives I have experienced with the VF e34. So 1, free parking at Vingroup properties, and 2, it's very utilitarian. You can use it anywhere. And 3, it feels very solid. It feels like it's a very stable car. You can drive it with confidence. Now let's get to the negatives. So what do I, Tom, feel about this car in terms of the negatives? Well, there are several. I mean, no car is perfect, right? So 1, I think this is gonna get better though, infrastructure. So when I bought this car, there's not a lot of charging stations, or there are charging stations but they're not functioning. So if you drive a VinFast electric car like me, then you know every time you go charge your car at a fast charger, usually they have chargers there and only probably about 2 are actually working, and usually somebody's using them. So the lack of infrastructure really make this inconvenient. Sometimes you're at 30% battery, you go to a charging station and it's all full, or sometimes the charging stations are not working. It's down, like they're in service. That gives you stress because you only got 30% battery left and you cannot charge up the car. That gives you a lot of stress. But I think VinFast is solving this problem though. I know that VinFast is installing a lot of charging stations. I see them everywhere, especially at Vingroup properties. So I do believe this negative will get addressed very soon. If VinFast want to make electric cars popular, they gotta address the infrastructure problem. And I think they are doing that. So the number 2 negative thing I experience with this car is that I do have to take this car back into the shop many times. and it's almost always for something that stops the car from working, and it's usually the battery. Even though it's got a electric lithium-ion battery in the floor here, but there's actually a 12-volt lead-acid battery in the front. And when that battery is not working, or for whatever reason that battery is low in charge, the car will not start. And that is a huge problem. That problem has caused me to get stranded on the road many times. It required me to take the car back to VinFast service center many times too. This is something that is not unique to me. If you go look at many of the VinFast forums, groups on Facebook, this is a problem that's commonly discussed by many VinFast VF e34 owners, that they have this problem with the lead acid battery, the 12-volt battery in the front. And usually when it's low in charge, we don't know why. It just goes low in charge. I mean, it's not like we did something wrong here. VinFast will tell you otherwise. They'll tell you, oh, you forgot to turn something up, but that's not true. For whatever reason, the battery will go low and the car will not start. And sometimes the solution is to just boost the battery. Sometimes the solution is you have to disconnect the battery and reconnect it, and then the car will work again. In many of the VF e34 forums on Facebook, a lot of the owners jokingly said the real key, the real VinFast key is not this one, all right? This is not the real key. The real key is the wrench that you need to disconnect the battery and reconnect it. I think these are all problems because we are pioneers. We are one of the first peoples to buy this car. And of course, we're gonna experience some problems, issues with this car. And I think that's fairly normal. There's a lot of complaints in the forums, but for me, it's okay. It's the cost of being a pioneer. I'm happy being the first owner of a Vietnamese-made electric car, and I want to continue to support it. That's why, you know, I'm getting a VF8 Plus. I'm just like driving around while I make this video because I got nothing better to do. That's not true. That's entirely not true. I got lots to do, man. But I know this car is probably gonna go back to VinFast, so I wanna make this video before that happens. My VF8 is coming soon, and I can't wait to get our car. Number 3. This car has an advertised range of 300 kilometers with a full charge. I can tell you that is completely not true. I can get at best 120 to 150 kilometers out of a full charge. Yes, I do drive this car like a madman or like a maniac, but I also try to drive this car like a gentle baby, but still 150 is the maximum. The 300 kilometers an hour, that is simply not true. Nobody can get that kind of range. I don't even know how you could get that kind of range, no matter how you drive. So if you buy this car, you have to expect half of what they advertise, which is about 150 kilometers. I do expect that the numbers will not always be accurate, because when they do testing versus real world, the numbers are released by the manufacturer generally is higher than real world use. And that's true for any manufacturer. Any EV maker, they will advertise a certain range, but nobody could get to that range. But I think 80%, 90% is good, but in this case, it's 50%. We're only getting 50% of the advertised range. There's a bit of exaggeration, I believe, here. It's something to pay attention to when you buy electric cars and figure out what the actual range is. I am hoping that my VF8 Plus has much better advertised range. I mean, the real range is actually closer to what is advertised. So, I give you 3 positives and 3 negatives. In conclusion, I do love this car very much. I hate to give it away because it's been such a great car. The drivetrain is good, everything works except that lead acid battery. Every time there's a problem with the lead acid battery, VinFast tells me it's a software problem. I don't know if that's true or not. The lead acid battery problems did actually require me to take the car back a lot. I'm hoping that this will improve in future iterations of the VinFast product. Every time I get behind the wheel of this VinFast, I feel proud because I'm driving a real Vietnamese product. I'm proud that I'm driving a Vietnamese product. I'm supporting Vietnamese companies, the Vietnamese economy, this really is a good product. You know, there are some small problems, but they'll be overcome. Every car has problems, even if they're new. So, I mean, for me, it's not a big deal. For a lot of people, maybe it is, but for me, it's not a deal breaker for me. I still love VinFast. I still love this car. But I am going to trade it in for a VF8 Plus, so I'm looking forward to that. And again, when I get that car and it's gonna be white, and hopefully within the next 2 months, hopefully sooner, I will be doing a complete full review of that car. And I will be sharing that with you very soon. So take some fucking action and look at the VinFast products that are coming soon to Vietnam and rest of the world, and don't be a fucktard.